How's it going, YouTube? My name is Seth. I'm your local real estate agent here in San Antonio, Texas, and today what we are going to be talking about is healthcare providers, medical, dental students, and your unique housing needs. So let's go ahead and get into it. What are your unique needs? What's different from you versus anybody else? So when we start looking at things, we see that you have an unpredictable, high-intensity schedule. You're going to be going to different places. You have early mornings, late-night study sessions, long clinical days. You're also going to have multiple commute destinations. You could just be on campus, but maybe you have rotations or labs or other places that you need to go throughout this process. So it might not be best just to be close to campus, but maybe in the middle between whatever locations you need to go to. You also have a need for a reliable study environment. Having a place to call your own, having a place that it's quiet and calm can really amplify your experience when you're in school. When you have an apartment and you have loud, noisy neighbors, or you have somebody banging on the walls, those things can be incredibly distracting and take you away from the work that you're trying to do. The other thing that we have to realize is that safety is a big concern. You're going to be leaving early or coming home late. You want to make sure that you're parking in well-lit areas or that you have your own garage. So those are going to be some of the unique needs that you have as a student in the healthcare professions. So what we're going to talk about right now is the apartment versus single family resident. Which route should you go? What's better right now? What's going to be better in the future? And so let's go ahead and start with apartments. All right, apartments are going to offer an increased flexibility. It's going to be easier to move through different rotations or fellowships or job offers without having to worry about selling a property. You're going to have a lower responsibility in terms of maintenance and cost. So your plumbing, your yard, whatever it is, those things are going to be handled by the apartment complex versus out of your pocket. All right, so that short-term cost is often cheaper than it is a mortgage, not only in your initial payment, but as well as all of the things that come with it, like the maintenance of the home. All right. The other benefit of an apartment is going to just be simplicity. It's just easier to go to an apartment, not have to worry about anything. It's all taken care of for you. But on that same side of things, there's also benefits to actually having a family resident, a home, versus an apartment. So one of those is going to be equity and investment. If you plan on being here for a while, if you're in school and you know that you're going to have a job hereafter, you're not planning on going anywhere, having something to invest in, it's going to build your equity in the home, that mortgage payments and potential appreciation and long-term financial asset. So you're going to have something that's going to be there for your entire life or when you need to sell it at that point in time. You're also going to have increased space and privacy. You're going to have the ability to keep it quiet, to keep it calm, and not have external things that are distracting you from your work. One of the other benefits of owning a home is personalization. To make it your own, to be able to come home and make it and design it and create it and do things the way that you want to do. With an apartment, you're not going to have that. You're also going to have stability. That stability is a sense of community, especially if you plan to stay in the area. And it gives you a sense of permanence. So when you're going through these decisions, what are also your family needs? Are you going to have people coming to visit? Are you planning on saving money throughout this time or just want to be comfortable during your time in school? So my sister is a dentist, and when she was at home, she has her kids, but at least she was in her space in her home. When she needed to shut things down, when she needed to have things done, she could do it because she was in control because she had her home. So now let's go ahead and move on to, if you are going to be in school, what are going to be some of the best places to look in terms of single family resident neighborhoods that are going to be close by the school? So when I'm looking at this here, we have a couple of main neighborhoods that are going to be close to the medical center. That's going to be kind of encompassing of wherever you're at in the healthcare profession. So you have the Oak Hills subdivision, which is known for its classic feel. You have some amenities there, as well as you're going to be pretty close to the med center. Another one to consider is going to be Dream Hill Estates. Dream Hill Estates, it has larger, older homes, so it might be a little bit more of a project on some things, but if you're looking for a nice big lot, a nice big home, and a community center, that's going to be a great neighborhood to check out. Another one is going to be Mockingbird Hill. It's a smaller community. It has multi-story homes, and that's going to be a place that you're going to be able to go to, have a little bit less maintenance, and a little bit more of a community feel. And last but not least is going to be Oak Valley and Colonial Hill. These offer sidewalks, hills. They're next to the popular HEBs. They have condos and townhomes available. This might be a really great option to kind of be right in that middle ground between an apartment as well as a home. This is going to be a great neighborhood. So once again, we have Oak Hills, we have Dream Hill Estates, we have Mockingbird Hill, and then we have Oak Valley and Colonial Hill. All right. So as we continue on, what we're going to talk about is if you are going to lease a property, if you do plan on leasing a property, then there's a couple of things that you want to make sure that you look at and you check. Okay? That's going to be the maintenance, the response time, the utilities, and early termination clauses. So when you're looking for a home, these 4 things are going to be incredibly important. What maintenance are provided through the apartment complex? How long is the response time? If you have a flood or a leak and you have to call them and it's 2 weeks before they get back to you, that's going to be a problem. So that's something to consider. The utilities. How much is everything going to cost? Your water, your electric, that's something to consider as well. And then early termination clauses. With you being in school and having these rotations and going and doing and being, if something comes up and you need to terminate that lease, are you able to buy out of that lease? Are you going to get an eviction notice? What's going to happen if you get a broken lease? Those things can compound over time. So later, if you try to get an apartment or try to get a mortgage and you have broken leases and evictions on your record, those things are drastically going to reduce your ability to get a home later. All right. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about today is going to be budgeting. So while you're in school, it can be incredibly difficult to have the money because you're not working. You are working on school. Now, some places will go ahead and give you some money if you're in school. Some places will not. And depending on how much you borrow, you're going to have to pay those things back. So it's incredibly important that while you're in school, that you budget appropriately. So we're going to go through this. This has a few different steps. It has 4 steps to make sure that you are going to be budgeting appropriately. Step number 1 is going to be gather your financial information. Find out exactly what your bills are, what you're paying on things, what it's going to cost for school. Calculate how much money you have coming in, any of your loans, scholarships. Identify all the expenses. What is your grocery cost? What is your gas cost? What is the utilities cost? You're going to want to go through this and make sure that you look at all of the expenses, all of the financial information, and then also check any variable expenses, fluctuating monthly income, anything that is going to be changing, anything that is not known. You're going to want to account for those things as well. right? That includes your entertainment or travel, anything that might not just be something that you pay every month, okay? Step number 2 in your budgeting process is going to be choose a budgeting method and tool. Very few people, very few people are able to just know all their numbers, know what's going on in their head, not have to write anything down, not have to have a system in place. Odds are, with you in school, focusing on those things, you're not going to want to be doing a bunch of bandwidth over for your budgeting. You're going to want to create a system, okay? So select a method that works for you. It could be a simple spreadsheet. It could be a dedicated app. It could be a specific budgeting rule, like I don't do this or I do this. But whatever it is, come up with the system that works for you. So you can use pen and paper if you're a tactile person. You can use custom spreadsheets. You can use a budgeting app like Mint or YNAB. AAMC is another one that provides free budget worksheets and financial wellness programs. Okay, once again, that's YNAB, AAMC. These are going to be things that you can use as well as Mint. All right, these are going to be tailored for students. Now, one of the other things that you can do is the 50-30-20 rule. That's allocate 50% of your income to needs, 30% of your income to wants, and 20% of your income for savings/debt repayment. So that's another method. That's a system that you can incorporate 50-30-20. Okay? This provides a simple framework for categorizing your spending, knowing what money is going where, what it's going to, and how much it's going to be. All right, another method that you can do is zero-sum budgeting. That's assign every dollar of income to a specific expense or saving. So whatever is coming in, rather than saying, oh, I have this much to spend, you say, I'm going to spend this dollar on this dollar on this dollar on this. That's going to help you have a better understanding of the finances and make sure that money is not going out frivolously on just random things, okay? That Uber Eats will get you overall. Things that just money is pouring out, but it doesn't bring you anything back. Those are going to be things to avoid, right? The last system that we're going to talk about is the envelope system. The envelope system is to allocate physical cash or virtual funds into envelopes. These are your categories. So very similar to the 50-30-20, but your categories is the money that you have for it. So once a category is empty, you cannot spend in that area. So if you spend all of your monthly fund money in the first week, that means for the remaining weeks of the month, you're not going to have any money. So that's another way. Get an app. Get some form of method that works for you. Try the 50-30-20 rule. Try zero-sum budgeting, or try the envelope system where you're going to put them in categories. All right. Step 3 in our plan is going to implement cost-saving measures. So while you're in medical and dental school, it's going to be incredibly important that the money that you're saving and putting away, that's how you're going to have longevity after you start working. So med school is demanding. So is fragility and non-essential areas. All right. So we can reduce our debt if we're not also accumulating debt throughout this process. All right. Plan meals. Going out to eat and Uber Eats, that's a great thing, but plan your meals. Cook at home instead of eating out frequently, and utilize your student pantries if available. That's going to help you financially. Transportation. So if you're close to the school, you can always bike or ride public transportation. That's going to save you on gas, insurance, as well as parking. So that's going to be important for you. All right. Use discounts. A lot of places are going to offer discounts for students. As a medical or dental student, if you do get a discount anywhere, take advantage of those things and borrow wisely. So, my sister, as I mentioned, is in dental school or was in dental school. She is now a dentist, and she borrowed a lot, but now she has to pay back a lot. So those are things to consider, is that when you borrow money, borrow what you need so you don't have such a huge payment to pay back once you start working. All right. Step 4 is going to be monitor and adjust regularly. So a budget is absolutely pointless if you don't look at it. A budget is pointless if you don't adjust it. If you're not coming up with the right money every single month, it's going to be something that you want to fix so that you gradually get your budget in check. Track your spending. For the first few months, meticulously track. Was it a Starbucks? Was it Amazon? Was it Uber Eats? Was it shopping? What was it that you were spending the money on? Track those things. And then balance and review. So if you didn't have enough money for something and you need to reallocate, redo it. Go back through the steps. Go back through your apps. Go back through what you have. Even if it's on pen and paper, go back to those things and readjust them. And then plan for the future. Anticipate large or irregular costs. If your car breaks down and you've spent all your money, that could be a problem. If you have big exams or board fees coming up or residency interviews, you could be having to travel for those things. So be putting money away. So as a healthcare provider, whether it's med school, dental school, any other form of doctorate that you're going to be going to school and coming out as a doctor or in your profession afterwards, these specific things are going to help you in your housing journey. So stick around for more information. I'm going to be going through different aspects of your journey and helping you understand what's needed. So in the future, we're going to talk about loans. We're going to talk about how to get certain homes. We're going to talk about offers. We're going to talk about what it's going to take for you to have the proper housing needs. So just as a quick recap today, what we've talked about is what makes your housing needs unique. We've talked about the benefits between an apartment and a single family home. We've talked about what to look for if you are going to lease, as well as we've talked about your initial budgeting plan. So I hope you found today useful. I'm happy to talk to you more. If you want more information, here's my number, and I look forward to hearing from you, and good luck on your school.